Okay, so this deck list came across the Twitter timeline and it looked kind of sweet. It is a blue-white control deck playing 4 copies of standard staple Banish into Fable here. So this 6 mana instant returns target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. You get a 2/2 Knight token with Vigilance. Obviously not very good at 6 mana, but the top line here says when you cast the spell from hand, copy it if you control an artifact, then copy it again if you control an enchantment. You may choose new targets for those copies. So basically, at peak power level, this gives you bounce 3 things, get 3 2/2 Knights at instant speed, which that's pretty close to a constructed playable card. It's probably pretty reasonable. Also notable here that this is a cast trigger. It is not a when this resolves. So if you're playing against something like counter spells, like rogues, this is going to get to put 3 copies of something on the stack. They'd have to counter all of the copies. So at the core, we're a Sky Noodle deck here. We've got a bunch of enchantments, Birth, Omen, Conquers Death. We've got some Archons of Sun's Grace here to get extra values off of those enchantments. We've got some Niko Aris here. These shards are enchantments. And then as far as artifacts goes, Mazemind Tome and Glass Casket are artifacts. And then Birth is actually a really great enabler here. Birth, in addition to being an enchantment, is also creates an artifact wall for us, which is great. Midnight Clock is another cheeky artifact in here. So we've got sweepers, some cheap interaction, a Sky Noodle to blink things all around. We've got some Into the Fables for some closing powers. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how this this blue-white control deck feels in the format for us, huh? Hopefully Arena will let us actually complete our ladder matches today. Would be nice. Morning cheese. Yes, yeah. Resolving a Niko late game with Archon gives you a bunch of things. Alright, so the opponent is playing Obosh, which likely means the Teamer Adventures deck. I think we keep this. We've got tapped blue, untapped white, another land, some ramps, some card selection. We've got this as a little bit of interaction. Overclocked Sloth. Thank you for the 2 months. Good morning and welcome back. Ooh, that was a really good draw, champ fam. Nip this Innkeeper in the bud here. This card is so good. Like, easily the best variation of this style of effect, right? We're into your question, what's the most efficient to switch reasons to maximize bonus XP? So you should get all of them to 8, and then you should level them in increments of 4, maximizing your time playing the ones that get bonus XP first. Is basically the TLDR. I think we attack for 2, right? Damicus Steel, thank you for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Smells like a stomp. You're borrowing my Skyclave. Yes, deal. Resolves. Seems good for me. Got a Mystic Dispute here. I was expecting that to not resolve. Since it resolved, we'll play the untapped land so we can play an Omen. What's going on, Squid? Good morning. We've got huge tracts of land. The deck's got you playing Flash in Pioneer. Is it playable there? I'm not sure that it's playable in Historic, much less Pioneer. We'll draw ourselves a noodle. We'll cycle a Triome here. Thing pops off at 12, right? Yeah. Triforge today? I think I'm going to play red-yellow mid-range today. I'm pretty happy with the tokens deck. I need to figure out a third deck to pair with it. Pair with my other two. Morning Silver Oak. That's nice. Think we're just skyclaving this mammoth. Yeah, it's very strong, Squid. It also feels super rewarding to play. It leverages Mythgard's resource system really elegantly. 4, 5, 6, 7. This would be land 8. This is fine. Morning, Talahedon. I see how it is. Thanks for the prime. Good morning, good morning. Actual factual blue-white control? Yeah, I'm cosplaying as Gabriel Nassif this morning. Gosh, our opponent just, like, loves us having all of the Skyclave Apparitions. Deal Arena. But I tried Blue-Black Flash in a Stark. I do not think it's good, and we'll probably play it at some point. Feels like there's a Saw coming in my future. Let's start here. Maybe they're bouncing it because they want to counterspell it. Oh, alright. They're already through 2 borrowers here. I kind of want them to play a Great Henge, so that way I can Gawker's Death. This Twitch stream was pre-recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. Ooh, Spike Field Hazard's a good one. I was thinking I don't care if they stomp it, but them exiling it feels a little bit bad. We get to casket this token, and then we can Yorion the casket down here in a second. Midnight clock looking pretty promising, by the way, here. Gonna pippity pop off. Why didn't I block this into the 1/1? I didn't. For people, someone's gonna wonder that on a YouTube comment. The reason why is because I missed it. Alright, so opponent gave up. It's nice to see. You like to see it. Stroke sounds great. Dispute sounds great. This might be a Shark Typhoon matchup. I'm surprised there's not a fourth Conqueror's Death in the sideboard. It might be something that we changed on the line here. There's a lot of like cheeky one-ofs in here for a lot of one-ofs for an 80 card deck, chat. Is this effect actually something I want here? Giving them their adventures back to their hand actually seems pretty bad, right? So all this seems okay in some other places. It's probably not very good here. These Shark Typhoons might be silly. Because they have Borrower anyways. Let's just bring in some counter spells and trim the Banish. Yeah, hand looks great again. We get to go tap land on one into white source, birth, grab a third land. Love to see it. Ha! That's adorable. Something squared. Yeah, Rebirth felt like the last card I was really looking for in that archetype. Having 1 mana protection that like also gave us some extra lands on occasion felt really good. I think with this draw we're paying 3 here, so that way this could be our second blue. Because this can only get plains, so it'll be our second white. Demian, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. We just pass here. We can hold up the Saw It Coming / Dispute / Omen. It could be right to throw Doomskar over in the corner to get that set up. Silly opponent, you activated my trap card. Twitch has told me this is a channel I may like. They're right, I've liked it for 2 years. What's going on, Drex? When do kids stop trying to eat their crayons? That's it's a different age bracket for all of them. Depends on what they are. Well, they attacked their innkeeper in for no reason and got it killed, so probably... Okay, so we're definitely doing this. Part of me wonders, do I just do this as well? I think so. In the case of Donald Trump, 70 plus years. Oh. Speaking of our previous glorious leader, I hope all of you at home had a good chuckle about him sending out emails telling his base to stop voting to the RNC and to instead donate all money to him directly. It's really wonderful to see the grifter continue to grift and scam those people. Just brought a smile. Yeah, the grift never stops. I, for one, am shocked that the leopards are eating their face. I can't believe it, chat. Can you believe these damn leopards? Hey, John Charlie, thank you for the entire year. Welcome back. It's a bit worrying that they still buy into it. It's not worrying at all. It's not any more or less worrying than it was when it was happening. The people that still support Donald Trump at this point are cult members that you have to literally deprogram to save. It's going to be a lot of work. And I personally don't intend to spend any energy doing it. I would much rather spend my energy actually helping people that want to be helped. So hopefully they play one of these here, and then we'll get to Scar plus Saw coming their counterspell, or like Scar plus Dispute their thing. One of these could technically be an Epiphany. Or both could technically be an Epiphany, I suppose. I'd take one land here. I don't think I want both. Doom on you. Doom on you. I would like to dispute your claim that you saw this coming. Goodbye, friends. Two of these over here. I'm gonna try and counter this. All right, so that just happened. So this is a turn spell. Got it. Maybe I should have kept the second land. Works out rather cleanly. Morning Wand. We're down to 5 here. After the opponent's deck is hot, we could get into trouble here, but... I'm gonna counter this because I think if I don't counter it, my opponent's likely to not play the Obosh out. I think I just want to use my mana here. And I think the plan is like do this, hope they draw a brick for the turn, we'll chump block this into here. Therese, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. The attack with the bird seems strange. If I block like this, I gain 3, I go to 8, I take 7. I think I'm supposed to give them the token here. No, they're Obosh, so they can't have cleave. Well, I said if they drew hot, we'd be in trouble. This is not dead yet, right? We go to 1. This is the part where they draw Bone Crusher Giant and kill us. Alright, so we need this to not be a counterspell. Wow, they drew a counterspell. Brutal. There's a top of their deck there. I think we were pretty unfortunate to lose that. I think I'm happy with all the plays that we made. Hard to beat time walk into counterspell there. Good back-to-back draws. Yeah, I think I'm happy with how I boarded. Let's run it back. The Yorion resolves there. I think we're pretty close into can't lose territory. We get to gain 2 and draw another card. So even if they like deal with the Yorion next turn, we have chump blockers on the ground, and the Dream Trawler is doing work in the air. Pretty peak magic is you drawing 3 lands in a row while your opponent draws back to back, running hot ones. How many lands are in this deck? Either there's not enough lands or the shuffler is out to get us, chat. Of one of the two. God, what shit-tastic luck. There's 35 lands counting spell lands. That's plenty. When do the adventure cards rotate? Not soon enough. In the fall. My coffee person, I am not. Drink iced tea on occasion. That is all. I technically should do this on their upkeep. After watching Jeff, I feel guilty when I go under 28 lands. You know, honestly, one of the reasons why I love this current standard format is you really do need a good reason to not be playing a bunch of lands. Like, aggro decks should be on 24 plus lands, mid-range decks should be on 26, and control decks should be on 28 or more. Like, you know, I've played control decks with 30, I've played mid-range decks with 28, etc., etc. Let's start here in case they saw it coming in. I'd rather get rid of the Edgewall Innkeeper with this one. I'm gonna lead on the Glass Casket here as bait. I'm also intentionally not playing my land out, so this way, if they want to dispute me, they can, because this getting disputed is fine. They could just bounce this at end of turn. Oh, we're just playing a Brazen Borrower as well, sure. Really hoping to find something that could generate some card advantage with this Yorion. Omen of the Sea would be a great draw. Mazemind Tome would also be okay. Yeah, I think especially if you're like putting cycling lands in your control deck, a lot of my control decks have been having 30. Is about where I end up at. Yeah, it's because when you flood out, you at least get to make choices about what you do with the spells that you've drawn, right? Whereas like when you mana screw, you just like don't get to play a game of Magic. At least there were some choices involved when you get mana screwed. Just to hold this, to protect this, probably, actually. I don't think I want it as a counter spell at this point, but it could want to discard this to keep the Dream Trawler alive. The second one's probably another time luck, yeah. Since where they jammed the first one. Yeah, make 2 birds draw a card resolves. Make 2 birds draw a card, untap your lands. Make 2 birds, draw a card, untap your lands. The more I play against Aldrin's Epiphany, the more I really just kind of wish they'd stop printing extra turn cards together. It's really just not an effect that generates games of Magic I'm interested in playing for the most part. Aldrin has a lot to think about, chat fam. Alright, so we really want to draw a copy of Conqueror's Death here. Get a couple of shots at that. It's a shame we mulliganed to 5 this game and didn't have 1 more mana to counterspell that. I got a noodle here, right? Mendor the Butts, thanks for the 10 months. Welcome back. So they're going to get to draw and play their Ember Cleave this turn. Sky Noodle trades with Goldspan Dragon at least. I'm gonna get to draw one more card with Dream Trawler. And they can't have Negate, right? So they can't cast Dispute or Saw It coming off of that. Yeah, we gotta just Doomskar, right? And then we gotta Doomskar and then hope that the Emeria... Oh, I should have attacked with this too, right? Because if they block it, I get to clear the token away. The problem here is, even though we clear the board out, we probably die to Great Henge if their hand's at all average. Does it need like 1 or 2 creatures to put us in the ground? Because once they play a creature or 2, they're almost guaranteed to get more, which then snowballs further. Well, I mean... Hey, Notrix, thanks for the Prime support. There's a ton of great people making a ton of great stuff on Twitch right now that you can ship that to every single month. Thanks for this way this month. Good morning, good morning. Playing the Emeria is called better. They like... Then we just die to an extra turn spell, right, Cody? They haven't played any extra turn spell yet this game? One? Or is this a game where they played a bunch of them? Ooh, you're right. They had already played 3 of them. Yeah, that's probably better. I don't know. I think we were probably fucked either way because of the Great Henge without an answer to that. It's a pretty unfortunate game overall. We just, like, had a point where if we would have just had, like, 1 more mana, we would have been able to do something meaningful, but because we mulliganed to 5 to start, we weren't able to have the resources to stop the Great Henge. I quit after fielded it at Oko, but I enjoy watching you do your thing in the explanation of what you do. It's not tricks. If you ever feel like poking back in, now's a good point. Standard's good like it hasn't been in a long time. Fredwick, thank you for the 41 months. Good morning. It's definitely still not cheap. I understand that. Yeah, I think I would put this format on the same level as RNA standard for sure. I don't think it's quite as good as GRN. There's a few things in it, like there's a few things in it that I would prefer weren't there, but definitely got more good than bad. So, pretty disappointing match there. We had a game 2 where we were super far ahead, and our opponent had 2 really good top decks back-to-back to win, and then a game 3 where we mulliganed, and then we're missing just enough resources for them to slip in a Great Henge and kill us. Yeah, I think GRN standard is probably my favorite Magic standard in the decade I've spent playing it. Master of Misery. Good morning and welcome. I mean, I don't know that it's not even that I don't know. It's definitely not as simple as saying standard's guaranteed to be better as standard's guaranteed to be better without Eldraine. Like, card game formats are complicated beasts, and there's lots of moving parts that go into them. Like, we definitely don't know like what the guaranteed outcome is of things if you change things around. It could be better, but saying that it's guaranteed to be is definitely a stretch. You know, I think I'm actually going to keep that. I've got a 4th land guaranteed with this. Casket up the Innkeeper here. Let to go tapped land, Birth into Plains, Archon. Morning Time Lord. It's another Birth. Nice. I'll take a little bit of a hit here. Archons of Sun's Grace, notably going to line up really well into the removal that this opponent's archetype plays. It's good against both Chop Down and Stomp. We did not. We mulliganed to 5 and died in the 3rd game. Radicus, good morning, and thanks for sharing that Prime this way this month. Welcome, welcome. And then next turn, I'm going to have to decide, do I feel like I have enough time to be a little bit greedy and deploy 2nd Sun's Grace? Or do I want to just, like, deploy a couple of enchantments and make tokens right away? It'll depend on what the opponent has outside of these 2 cards here. We have previous match, Mazip. We played against Obosh in the one before this. The Christopher G. Thank you for re-upping. Welcome back. What's their payoff for the rogue? What do you mean payoff? I'm confused. This card just makes mana. It's a 1 mana dork. I'm gonna greed here a little bit. This gains me 3. Let's do this. I think I'm in for untapped land next turn. And we'll do this. So this is 10, 11, 12. So I think the odds of them killing us here are low. They could, like, play Toast. Their best play is, like, play Toski, put a counter on Sentinel, crack us for 13. So there's a world where I die to a flurry of stomps, huh? If they diddle this, this is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No, I'm not dead to a stomp here. I guess I didn't need to top this Castle Vantress if I was drawing Birth, huh? Well, they're playing Goldspan Dragon. That's interesting. Is that lethal? I just died. Exactly dead to Goldspan Dragon? Man. It's been a rough start today, chat. It's been a rough start today. Might not play this one for much longer. Feels kind of bad, man. To play something aggressive and historic as a palette cleanse. I'd say a little bit frustrating that like Arena fucked up yesterday and we could be in Diamond if Arena hadn't decided to shift delete the match that I was playing. And not like we're gonna start today with losing 2 matches to incredibly bad beats to like fall back down further into Platinum. I guess the latter ultimately doesn't matter, but it's still very annoying. The software is as bad as it is. For people that weren't here for the end of yesterday's stream, Arena literally just deleted the last match we were playing, like, while we were in Game 3 and had them dead on board the next turn. It disconnected, and then we closed the client and relaunched it, and it didn't reconnect, and it didn't lose us match points for losing the match, or gain us match points for winning it. It was just like the match never happened. I mean, to be fair, Multi-Locked, 60-card blue-white isn't particularly popular either. This archetype, also because it's trying to play Banish into Fable, has a bunch of cards that Yorion wants to be blinking anyways. I don't think, if anything, the first match that we played, we would have lost it by a lot more if we didn't have access to Yorion. I think Yorion seems quite good in this deck. It's very rare that it isn't correct to turn your deck into a Yorion deck, which is one of the reasons why this card's so dry. Part of me is a little bit sad that Ikoria won't exist without Eldraine, but another part of me is like ready for these designs to go away. I was very sad in general that they decided to nerf all of the companions as a whole rather than ban Yorion and Lurrus. Yorion and Lurrus are definitely the standout. These are probably too good as far as companions go, even with the nerf. So like, there is a number of designs where like, I'm pretty forgiving of the fact that they missed them and they ended up being really good. But I really feel like Yorion is one that they deserve criticism for missing. This companion is literally the easiest companion requirement to meet out of all of the companions, and it's the best companion in terms of stat line and abilities to mana cost. So it is both the easiest to meet the requirement for and the most powerful, and the fact that they missed those two things feels huge to me. Something I've talked about before on stream is I think they should have just flipped Laturi and Yorion. If they would have just like switched the companion rules on Laturi and Yorion, I think that would have been ideal. Like make this be your deck has to be singleton and make Laturi the 80 card deck companion. Yeah, and after the fact, I think rather than changing the companion rules, I would have preferred they would have just banned the 2 overtuned ones. But so here's why I disagree with your statement. I actually think your statement's just objectively wrong, Squared. You just referred to Yorion as a deck building challenge. When can you point out a time or a Yorion deck that you've worked on where you struggled to find 20 more playable cards? Can you describe what your deck looked like where Yorion's requirement was actually a challenge for you to meet? Where you went, man, I'm really struggling to find a playable 40th spell. There just aren't playable spells in these colors that I'm playing with Yorion, and I'm struggling to fill out my deck list. Because as someone... Well, no, but that's not what you meant, but it's what you said. You said you enjoyed the challenge, and that's my point about Yorion and why it's a miss. Yorion is a miss because it's explicitly not a deck-building challenge. It very explicitly is dry and just... It very explicitly is dry and not challenging. That's the core problem with it. If it was a deck-building challenge, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But it's not. You just casually, arbitrarily meet the requirement for this, and it's not a big deal. That's the problem at a fundamental level. That it's not a challenge. Yikes. Am I scrying? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Am I just playing this and blinking it next turn? I think I am. Oh, you know what? If I was planning on blinking, I should have scryed, right? Because we're going to reset the counters. I caught my stop at least before we got there. Someone mentioned they only did 20 cards because of limited. They should have done what they've done. They should have baited a percentage. They should have said, okay, your deck has to be 50% more. You know, then it's 20 for limited and it's 30 for constructed. But even then, honestly, I think he probably should have. This body and ability probably just shouldn't have. Probably just shouldn't have this companion requirement. I think, like I said, I think this and Laturi probably should have been switched if they wanted them to be balanced. dead, Jim. You've murdered him. Alright, chat. We've got 5 looks at a Doomskar. I'd be happier seeing more otters than sky noodles. What was it? I frequently have companies that make games send me offers for game codes for things, and I recently had one send me a code for a platformer game that's otters in space. That's really adorable. I was playing it with the kids this morning before I came online. Okay, I think we're getting our scries in with these. All right, look at that. Should have just believed, chat. I thought I needed to scry. Turns out I didn't. Yeah, it's really cute. What is it called? Space Otter Charlie is what it's called. You're gonna destroy my clock! Wow, that's rude. Does that count as cleaning my clock, chat? Could have drawn with the tome instead of playing Omen there. Oh, that's a good catch. It's a good catch. Would have gotten a little more value out of the other things that way. Have we even drawn Banish into the Fable yet? No. Yeah, and that we're talking about Yorion and how it's secretly an upside. That's the really secret upside to playing, you know, you can put 4 of a cheeky, probably bad card in your Yorion deck, and then you won't draw it as frequently, and then you're still able to win games because the rest of your deck has mostly reasonable cards in it. That's the real, you get to get people. And be like, look at this. I played Banish the Fable and Blue-White Control and did good. Tron, thanks for the 2.5 years. Welcome back. Parallelogram, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Looks like I missed another one. Boyfriend, good morning. Niko, be good to gas back up with here. We drop the old casket on the innkeeper. Drop the Conqueror's Death on the Love-Struck Beast. Ooh, Banish into Fable. I don't even really want to bounce these adventure cards, right? Like, I'm bottoming this, I'm pretty sure. Like, they don't have anything worth bouncing. I think we're actually supposed to board that out against these adventure decks. Believe it or not. Yeah, like, what am I gonna do? Bounce their Showdown of the Skulls? Oh, we could bounce our own cards, is it? Oh, this does bounce our own cards. Okay, that's fair. All right, we should have kept it to bounce our own cards. That was the power play. Febjda, thanks for the 40 months. Welcome back. That's a good draw, chat. These are enchantments. We did this in another deck earlier this season. We should probably revisit that deck. It was sweet. Niko. We played Niko plus Sun's Grace in a deck that wasn't a do nothing control deck. That was really sweet.
Come on, stay sharp.
Niko saying stay sharp while making a shard token feels a little on the nose. If they escape the spider here to kill my Archon, I get to bring it back with Conqueror's Death next turn, which is nice. It's like when characters in the movies say the movie title. Yeah, it's a good comparison. Dig, I believe Niko's character is non-gendered or non-binary, according to the lore. Someone in chat can correct me if I'm wrong on that. They, them, yeah. Yep. Taito A, thanks for the follow. Morning, Johan. Okay. Oh, we have a Sky Noodle in here. Huh? I think I want Noodle, actually. I'm gonna reset one of the tomes. I have all these shard tokens, so I don't think I want to reset all of the tomes. This only hits tapped creatures. Gosh, that's bad. Poor Niko. Hopefully Niko's second card's a little bit stronger than this one. Niko's basically only good because of Archon in this format. Hey, thanks for the 43 months, Mike. Welcome back. Again, Niko's plus 110 bounce Yorion is a little bit of value. That's true. You're rambled in. Thank you for the 16 months. Baneslayer's not really that exciting with 2 giant killers in play. True, that's true. Niko's plus 1 reusing an apparition is actually pretty good here, right? Like I don't mind dicking these innkeepers out. Are we going to deck them? Quite possibly. I think basically it's like looking for a Doomskar again at this point, right? If we find a Doomskar, we could probably deck them. Oh, my picture is a little bit over it. They have 18 cards. I'll take that one. It's better than a random. Okay, so I'm gonna crack this. Then we'll down tick Niko and deal 4 here.
I never miss.
Yeah, the classic wait, Niko does what bouncing over when we activate the ability? Is that a Dwarf Lord? Kinda? Man, I will say this. This deck may take 80 cards to build, but gosh, do you get your money's worth out of your time spent. We played like a match and a half in an hour. This deck list is off of Twitter, Bluefire. Most of the decks we play are things I pull from different spots online. Also, I also think, to comment on that, I think the obsession people have with where did deck lists come from is so silly. Like, it doesn't really matter if I found it online or if like I made it myself. It's pretty irrelevant. It's 2021, chat. I promise you that even if I made this deck list myself from scratch, the Simpsons had already done it before. Nothing is original in the age of the internet. I can shout out their Twitter. How do I know that they originally made it? How do I know that it was their idea and not someone else's? How do I know they're telling the truth? Like, you know, like, again, like, the Simpsons already did it. Trust me, they did. If you're not sure who invented this deck, it was Ray Dad. Yeah. We'll start bantering combat and see if they use their treasurer to diddle my Dream Trawler. I assume they're going to. These do not have vigilance. One of the things I really hate is when they use tokens like this that they consistently use, how they kind of arbitrarily decide, how I kind of arbitrarily decide if, like, when these things get vigilance and when they don't. Sure, but so why does it matter if that applies to this deck or not, Bluefire? Like, how does knowing whether or not I'm attached to card choices impact anything about it? Like, can you explain that to me? Why is that relevant? Please explain. Maybe I want some Disdainful Strokes in this matchup, actually. Baneslayer seems worse thinking about how Giant Killer diddles things. Hey, what's going on, Quasicato? Welcome to a live one. This card just doesn't seem good against adventurers. I'm just gonna put my counter spells back in. This is game 1 or game 2. This is our second match, I believe. I think it might be our third. I don't remember, if I'm being honest. They've all been long and drawn out. You'll be less likely to change them on your own. So I would encourage you to, whether or not I've worked on a list a bunch or you're taking it from someone else, you should approach every deck when you build it, regardless. You should approach every deck when you're building it with the same mentality. It shouldn't matter whether or not it's something I've played a bunch or playing for the first time. Ask yourselves the same important questions. What problem does this deck have, and how am I solving it by making a change? And that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, why does it matter? Because your attitude about why it matters or not is wrong, and it's going to cause you to make bad choices. It shouldn't matter where the deck came from, whether or not you think critically about how you're making changes and why. How's clock damage looking? I think we're actually down a little bit. They're at 15.5. I'm at 15. I'm down 30 seconds. Why do people care so much about who made the deck? I don't know, for made-up internet points. Honestly, I know you're kind of saying that jokingly, Simone, but in the case of a lot of decks, that is actually the truth, right? When people are like, well, who made the deck? It's like, well, this deck very clearly was a... When I talk about it in my friends group and from game design, there are definitely, in every card game, this isn't just in Magic, there's pre-con decks that the designers build and expect you to find, right? Ah, yes. The attack first and play into Jwari Disruption feels good, man. Psy Talos and Oakend, thanks for the follows, welcome. Yeah, like some of these things, it's like, well, it's like when people try and claim credit for these things that are like, oh, I built this deck that is very clearly like a precon. It's like, well, you didn't, like, Watsy really built that deck. That's why something, and you could argue that it's semantics to a degree, but when I work on deck lists a lot, I always like to try and use the wording, I optimized or I tuned this deck list, as opposed to saying, I made this, I invented it. Because I think that's a lot more descriptive. I think you probably can and should give people, oh, they've logged 200 matches with this deck, and they figured out what the appropriate 56th, 57th, 58th, 60th card is in the deck list because they spent a lot of time playing it. I think I tuned or optimized is better verbiage by a lot. Feels like they have a stomp. It's gonna block here. Tahi, thank you for the follow. Read them like a book, chat. So, I let them stomp. I know that sequence might seem a little bit weird, but I let them stomp my token and then countered the actual Bone Crusher Giant because I explicitly did not want my opponent to be able to add more pressure to the board this turn. So if I saw it coming to stomp and save my 1/1, my opponent could play a different 3-drop as a follow-up, which I don't want there. My 1/1's not very important. Them gaining tempo from playing to the board and eating 3 more mana is more valuable there. I gave up a 1/1 to gain tempo, essentially. Honestly, both of these are great, huh? I'm gonna play this tapped. Everything they cast that I could care about countering gets tagged by Disdainful Stroke next turn, so I'm gonna draw Sky Noodle here and pass. Normally, I like to buy people dinner before I stroke them, but for Goldspan Dragon, I'll make an exception. Ooh, and small sequencing mistake here on my part that I could get punished for. If I would have done this before my land drop, I could have played this tapped here while still holding this up, right? What if Veil of Summer was legal right now? Could you imagine these adventure decks with Veil of Summer? What a silly thought. Hey, Sky Noodle. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I think you're just digging for counter spells and finishers at this point. Nice. Is that everything I wanted and so much more, chat? 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 9. So I can take this Emeria's call and, like, still saw it coming next turn. Yeah, I think we're sliding solidly into garbage time here. Got me. That's fine. Garbage time is my favorite time of day. What's going on, Roger Gould? Hey, what's going on, Molas? Good morning, good morning. And, like, now here, like, right, like, my opponent is basically playing around sweepers out of me, which is, like, not really gonna end well for them. They're just giving me more time to draw to things. We're just passing here. With Dub saw it coming here, we're definitely a huge favorite as this game goes long. think I do this. I really want them to draw 2 cards, basically like countering a divination. Nah, I don't want to scry because of this draw. If I scry, then I lose these, then I have fewer things to bleak with Yorion. And how did I know Elspeth Conquers Death was on top of my deck? Because I'm a professional, goddammit. C Money and GS Spot, good morning and welcome to the channel. That's true, this Twitch stream is pre-recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. Also doesn't hurt. Morning Rove. Guess we'll get rid of this. Deagle in a can? Does Deagle in this instance refer to Desert Eagle? I spent a lot of time playing Counter-Strike growing up as well. Man, these are the most draining sort of matches to be on the other side of. You, like, spent 40 minutes of your life to lose to blue-white control in 3. You just like come away at the end of it like, oh no, what have I done with my life? Someone earlier talking about Sky Noodle being good or bad. That was our second match because we started at 2 pips and we lost to Teamer Adventures because we were unlucky. And then we won that one. So we played 2 matches in an hour and 12. It does feel nice with the heater, doesn't it? Very cold in the basement. I figured out the zoom on my own. I promise I didn't break your camera. I looked at it. Twisted this part right here. Do you think the angle needs to be lower or do you like it? You're the professional.
I would like it lower, but the tripod.
Oh, you don't think we should angle it down more?
No, if anything, I would want the whole thing to be like right here.
Yeah, a little bit lower.
Tripod.
Quick, Jeff, tab to a spreadsheet to look like you're working. Oh. I feel like I'm obligated to keep this hand, if only to show this card is probably making this deck worse. Like, this card just seems so awful in these adventure matchups. I am the dork that plays in arena events, and yesterday I conceded a 5-0 run because I really didn't want to bother with a U-White match. God bless you. Life is short, your game should be fun. If you're not having fun, play differently. The only way to play the game wrong is if you're not having fun. And honestly, I've talked about this before. People often ask, like, Jeff, what's the best way to farm an arena collection? If you're capable of getting to Mythic on the constructed ladder, you could just play those 1,000 gold events. You will very likely come out ahead. It's a good way to farm in-game currency and packs if you are good at constructed. So you shouldn't. If you are unable to get to Mythic consistently, it's probably not good value for you to play in those events. It might be okay still, but probably not. Drafts. I mean, drafts are also profitable if you're good. If you're not good, drafts get very expensive very quickly, though. Ah, it's an elephant! Ah! Chad, I'm being attacked by a giant elephant. Turn 4, Great Henge for free. Yep. Just Eldrine things. Ooh, we're gonna get to banish all of these into the Fable, chat, if we survive to get to 6 mana.
Do all the way to moment? No. Da, da, da.
I don't know what snow crab you're talking about, Beansy. Got me. Omen's actually a pretty good draw here. I think we're bolting this in, and then we want to... I'm gonna do this actually, right? We'll do this plus Omen of the Sun to jump block. And then we just want to make sure we put an enchantment into play this turn, so that we can banish next turn. We could have drawn off of Omen and killed the mammoth, maybe? Well, they don't have second blue for Brazen Borrower yet. That's nice. Attempt to gain 7. Hey, Miss Min. Hope you had a good stream. Thanks for the raid. We are moping around with some blue-white control in standard right now. Play a little bit of historic after. Been on this one for almost an hour and a half, so this will probably be the last match. I feel like I'd like an untapped land that doesn't hurt me here. I have Seagate Restoration, but that one burns a bit. Please step on my face. Or my soldier. Pick one. We're bouncing that. Deal Reno. Be gone, foul creatures! And artifacts. I banish you to the Shadow Realm. Or your opponent's hand. Either or. Hold on, folks. I'm gonna do it again. Maybe this card is secretly great. We're just like a hidden tempo deck, huh? We're just gonna like do it again and put 6 more power into play. Yeah, I mean they reset the tomes because they thought they were gonna tempo us out. The 36 months be rich. I appreciate the entire year of support. Welcome back. Made it to second march. We've had first march, yes, but what about second marches? Thank you for the entire year, Diesel. Good morning. What do we think of Omen into Niko down tick? Just want to make sure I saw your DM. I did not. I think it's Omen into. They could have a counter spell. Here's the problem. I'd rather do this actually than Omen of the Sea, right? Is one of these two cards a Sawk coming? They have main deck dispute sometimes too.
You won't determine my future.
They definitely play Sawk. I mean, the opponent's archetype, for people that have been keeping up on Standard, this Teamer Adventures deck is an established archetype. Fabling the Goldspan Dragon gives them a ton of mana. Is the problem?
All figured out.
I wanna rock. Do 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 do. It's 11 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Looking for HA4. Yeah, there you go. HA4 is releasing tomorrow, chat fam. Platinum Yammy, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. Donald Trump. I'm gonna graciously assume that is a username meant to make fun of our previous orange leader. Shuffler confirmed broken. Thank you for the 21 months. I'm so hyped to build a bad stoic with it. Me too. And I'm more hyped to put my hand through my monitor the first time my Merit Leech token gets claimed the Firstborn and hits me for 20 points of damage. I am confident that will be a pleasant and fun experience. Hey, at least you won't have to watch it get sacrificed. There's a glass half full response. What you're saying is HA4 is sponsored by monitor companies. I am. That's exactly correct. You have a first take for me? There better be 4 Graven Lords in this deck. 3 Graven Lords! This deck is literally unplayable. 3 Graven Lords? Come on now. How do you expect me to work with this? Your username is blue is the color, and you didn't put 4 copies of Snow Through Time in your deck? Come on now. You sit on a throne of lies. Eight. This is my 9th mana. I get to go ahead and cast this glorious spell and say bounce you. And you, and you. Dig Through Snow feels 2 on the nose. Everybody into the Fable. The way Banish into Fable has played out this game, it makes me feel like this effect has felt kind of powerful, but it doesn't feel like it's the type of effect a control deck really wants, if that makes sense. Like, this is like a really strong tempo play. Is any non-control deck going to have an artifact and enchantment on the table? Yeah, that's fair. Saw that one coming. We need some enchantment creatures and maul the Skyclaves. That's an idea. I kind of like that. You miss 5 mana Teferi. You don't have to miss 5 mana Teferi. You can play 5 mana Teferi in Historic right now. On this very day. Today, on this day of days, you could be playing with 5 mana Teferi. I need to make a point to play with every unplayed Eldraine card just to see how it is at this point. It's a strong play. Nixie, good morning and welcome to the channel. Please tell me we're gonna play Big Tef and Historic. We played Big Tef and Historic. If you missed the Blood Sun control deck we played in Historic, you'll definitely want to go back and check that out. It's worth watching. It was sweet. We're just sky noodling here. I think I am leaving Mazemind Tome at 3, though. I want to be able to gain 4. Jeff just wants to use our wild cards on Bloodsun. Bloodsun's pretty reasonable. This blue-white control deck seems fine. This is definitely going to be our last match with it. We're just like 20 minutes into game 1. We're ready to punch people in Historic, I think. I wanted to make a point to play some mono blue tempo. I think we're going to do that in Historic after we're done with this match. I would just like to attack people a bunch. That's assault. No, Chad, attack you. See, look, I've got the context chill on my shirt. Oh, you can't really see it. Okay, they're doing stuff. Webcam large. So you've got the attack you alphas. Got it. From Coalescence Design, magic themed t-shirts. Enhance. They do appear to be dead in the air. Yeah, we're gonna try out some of the snow dorks in mono blue today. Yeah, the new snow spirit, a couple of facial savings as well. So Disdainful Stroke seems good in this matchup. Dispute is fine. What are we cutting? When was the last time I bought a t-shirt? One of the perks of being a content creator is you never have to buy hoodies or t-shirts. I am fully clothed by sponsors, chat. The only clothing pieces I buy are jeans. And underwear. Just shirts mostly is what you get. I actually need to buy a new batch of socks soon. Starting to wear through the bottoms of a bunch of them. A promotional branded pants, exactly. I know exactly what we want to cut here. You just like Niko's effects a little bit slow and fair. I was trying this before, but I feel like after that last game, we should give it more of a chance. Omen of the Sun seems like important for blocking. I'm gonna trim the 4th copy for extra counter spells. It's just slow. Very boring when it comes to socks. I only buy socks every few years, and every time I buy socks, I get rid of all of my old ones and I buy like 20 pairs of the exact same socks. So that way there's no matching to be had. You can always reach into the bucket and grab 2 socks and know that they will work out. It's a good strict time efficiency saver. Yeah, you don't want to, like, there's never, if a sock gets lost, you don't have to, like, screw around with it. It's truly lovely, chat. Do we just throw a Doomskar in the corner? Or do we get Mazemind Tome going? I probably want to do this. I think there's a chance I want to 1-for-1 this Doomskar with this Lovestruck Beast. I'm sorry, the bucket? Yeah, the bucket of socks. Come on. Do you have a bucket of socks? You don't have a bucket? What do you keep your socks in if not a bucket, chat? Does the floor count as a bucket? I mean, aren't our homes really buckets in and of themselves? Well, we're both missing land drops. Your sock bucket is big enough to come with a mortgage. Yeah, exactly. Well. Man, I'm gonna get borrowed again? That's brutal. I have to discard the hand size now. I think it's just a counter spell. I think we throw Doomskar in the corner here and plan to Omen of the Sun / hold up Sock coming this turn. Howdy, Mr. Maple Syrup. If they counter this, this will get to resolve next turn. I actually think we're in an okay spot. If they counter this, we take 9 here, go to 2. And like, this is getting ready to pop here. Just want to try and keep hitting my land drops. Then to stomp off the top, not with the land. Everybody clench! Peak Magic Arena. Tank, tank, play my lethal spell with counter spell backup. Good times. Good times. Nah, that kind of stuff happens way more on Magic Arena than in Paper, because people playing on Magic Arena are frequently distracted while they play, so it takes them longer to realize that they have you dead, and it's guaranteed. Whereas, like, in average, when you're playing Paper Magic, even in casual settings, people are generally only playing Paper Magic. They're not doing something else at the same time. That's true too. That's a big, I think that's a huge factor that people that are bad at statistics or don't think critically about statistics really just don't understand when it comes to Arena and digital Magic, is that like, when you hear people talk about, oh, how this thing that's unlikely happens more often on Arena, what they're saying is this thing happens a higher number of times on Arena, and that's almost certainly true, but it's true because they're just playing more games, right? So you're getting mana screwed, assuming you're shuffling properly in paper, the same proportion of the amount of times on Arena, but because you're playing just such a higher quantity of games, the raw number is higher even if the percentage is the same. The lizard brain that most people have that can't detach that feeling and take a step back and look at like the metrics, they have a hard time separating those two things. The law of large numbers. No, the law of large numbers is different. The law of large numbers refers to the gambler's fallacy, which that's the cumulative variance joke that we frequently make on stream. The law of large numbers, for people not familiar with the gambler's fallacy, is a thing that says like, oh, this bad thing has happened a number of times, so I'm due for a good thing to happen. The good thing is owed to me because I've experienced this bad thing X number of times. Gambler's fallacy is, oh, I flipped tails 2 times in a row, so I'm more likely to get heads next time. You're not. With a fair coin, every flip is 50%. Cumulative variance is a joke. I'm sorry to break your heart. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. With that being said, Jeff, that should make decks better, right? Playing higher number of games allows you to optimize decks, especially based on the mana base. No, actually. So the number of games you need to play to have statistically significant sample sizes to make data-driven decisions based on metrics as opposed to feelings is way higher than most people think it is. One single person isn't capable of playing enough matches of Magic Arena to generate statistically significant sample sizes entirely on their own. They just aren't. Whatever you think is a statistically significant sample size, trust me, it's higher. Like low 3 digits is like where we start to get it, and then at that point, let's say you've managed to play low 3 digits worth of matches with the deck. Now think through all the permutations that deck went through while you were playing those matches, right? Like you didn't keep all the variables the same in your deck through those hundreds of matches. The only reason you can make like statistically significant data-driven decisions in other non-Magic card games like Hearthstone and Runeterra is because those games have like lots of people with deck trackers, and Magic almost has that with Untapped.gg, but they don't quite have the sample sizes for things like best of 3 that you would want to look for. And even then there's a lot of variables. Best of 3 with sideboards adds a lot of variables that you have to account for that you don't have to account for in best of 1 games like Hearthstone and Runeterra. The stroke sounds lovely. Just lovely. Do I want to wait to play Sky Noodle until I have the mana to pay for Dispute? I don't think so. I think I'm just jamming it. Yeah, MTG Melee is great. And like, as someone who took a break and came back to Magic, my enjoyment of Magic with the addition of MTG Melee has definitely increased a significant amount. Yes, sideboarding skill is a nightmare for statistics. Yeah, it really is. For me, getting good, clean data and making accurate statements and decisions with it. There's just so much there to account for. So I post my 70% win rate on Twitter after only 10 games. It actually means nothing. Yeah, that's why people often ask me, one of the norms I often buck with card games is I don't put my record with a given deck on my overlay. And that's because putting the record with a given deck on your overlay serves only to clickbait people and like basically lie to people that don't understand statistics. And I guess not everybody that does it is lying. Some of them probably don't understand the statistics themselves, but it's definitely a net negative for the community overall for that to be a thing that happens. Encourages people to make not great decisions. I think I want this to resolve more than I want Conquer's Death to resolve, and because this could be a Saw It Coming, I'm gonna lead on the Conquer's Death here. Because if this resolves, I'm pretty happy with it happening. But if this is a counterspell, I'd rather this resolve down the line. You're a streamer, it's your job to clickbait people. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Part of me thinks the reason why I found some niche of success on Twitch with card games is because I don't do things like that. So I don't think it's really a net positive for me to start doing them. Leveraging my background as a teacher, I think, is one of the better things about my streams on average. For people that are new to the channel, I have a master's degree in mathematics. I had a minor in education. Spent some time teaching at college and high school levels. Gotta be honest, I thought you were super weird when I started watching. Well, to be fair, that's an accurate statement. I don't think most people would disagree with that. A number of the things that I do are atypical, even down to my speech patterns, because of the speech impediment I had as a child. What's my favorite branch of mathematics? My master's capstone project involved analyzing graphs. That's definitely what I enjoyed the most. I just started watching you after you just won an SCG opener to listen. There is enough misinformation on the internet. I would like the record to reflect that I hold the very coveted title of most SCG Open top 8s while failing to ever win one. Because I know that that's a title that most people would love to have, so. You definitely did not start following me after I won one or two. What's going on, Enya? Thanks for the 28 months of Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I do have 2 finals appearances, though. 2 or 3. All right, and they have 1 blue up here, so they can't saw it coming. They can't play negate because of Obosh. This should be resolving. Do I play Archon here? There's some value in holding up Stroke next turn while being able to pay for Mystic Dispute. They could just dispute this, actually. No dispute. Okay. Oh, I had Conquer's Death trigger there. They could have dispute. Good catch. Good catch. Dispute was 5. Yeah, good call. Good call. Amulet Titan, and what else? I made the finals of a Legacy tournament with 4-color loam. I think those are the two. I did win a 300-player standard 5K, but that technically wasn't an open. You know, honestly, I think we just let this happen, right? And then we Conquer's Death them next turn. Yeah, things like Twitch rivals aren't really comparable to large open tournaments, though. They're just not the same. Small exclusive invite only events. I actually think that that's one of I think Magic Arena has improved my love of Magic in a lot of ways. Magic Arena does a lot of things better than paper, in my opinion. But the one thing that I really dislike about the Age of Arena is that I really dislike the move away from big open entry tournaments that we consistently had to those more like exclusive style things. Like the move from, you know, the MPL from traditional Pro Tours and stuff, etc. MTG Melee has allowed us to get back to that a little bit, but it's not quite the same. I think I'd rather replay this and get 2 2/2s that hold up stroke here. This could be wrong, though. We could get punished for this. Just like looking for counter spells and things to play to the board. Perfect. In case they flood the board here and we need to. Yeah, if they like stick a, they could escape this and then like stick a Great Henge here. That would be bad. We got a lot of flying power though, so maybe it's fine. We're just about to cross the 2-hour mark for how long we've been playing this deck. We're in game 3 of match 3. What about our clock? Our opponent is at 8 minutes. We are at 13 minutes. Yeah, I loved the Chains escape animation. I was really sad to see it gone when I came back. What's the point of removing animation like that? I wonder if they were having issues with it on mobile. That's the only thing I can think of, right? Yeah, and like they had like the mobile client runs better than I was expecting to. I wonder if that was a mobile optimization. And not only did they get rid of the animation, but they missed the tact. I really liked the sound that it made. It was a really satisfying, like, tactile click, 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 click. They're technically not dead yet here. Not dead yet. With Uro gone, they didn't expect people to still be escaping cards. I don't know about that one. I think this is fine. Got me. In just 2 short hours, chat, we have gone 2-1 and gained 2 entire ladder points. Are we a diamond gamer? We are a diamond gamer, chat. In just 2 short hours, you too could gain 2 entire ladder points and rank up a little bit. All right, all in all, thoughts on this. This is gonna shock you, but I think this card is probably too cute and bad. The rest of this deck actually seemed pretty reasonable overall. Like, we have good cheap interaction down here. I think notably just like Doomskar is in a really good position in the format. We were playing Shadow's Verdict in 4-color control the other morning, and that was very good for a very similar reason, just like getting to clear everything out. Skyclave's just a super powerful card. Getting to blink it with Yorion is good. Honestly, Archons of Sun's Grace is just like such an excellent finisher. It's a card that buffers your life against aggro, and it goes with the enchantments you want to be playing otherwise against control anyways. It makes Niko reasonable. Like, these colors don't have great planeswalkers, and Niko feels like close to being playable. And when you combine Niko with a card like Sun's Grace here, where these shards are enchantments, you like pay a big X and make a bunch of 2/2s to close the game, that felt very reasonable. So what would I do if I was to get rid of these banished into Fable? Probably like an extra Conquer's Death, maybe move another Omen of the Sun into main, maybe play a second Dream Trawler. Dream Trawler was good at a couple of points for us. Honestly, probably another land. I think that's probably what I'd do. I think I'd go up a Conquer's Death, up a Dream Trawler. I'd slide an Omen of the Sun into the main, and I'd add a land at random. You could play another Crawling Barrens. You could play, honestly, White Castle's probably good. I think I'd probably do that for the main deck. And the sideboard here is just like a smorgasbord of adorable one-ofs for the most part, so I'd probably want to figure out exactly what we want to be doing in the sideboard and clean that up a little bit. For example, more Guide Lantern is probably a reasonable place to be in the format, because cycling is a deck that you care about, and we're not playing copies of Negate, so like being able to have that to like counter a flare for 1 mana feels good. Do we ever draw Midnight Clock? It's fine. I think you could probably leave this as a cheeky, like, late game card advantage style thing. I think this is probably fine. All right, we're gonna live up to the branding on my shirt now and attack some people for a bit. I need